Hello everyone, welcome back to some more of The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last time, not a lot of things happened. We went back, we started our second investigation of this case, and we did a few things. We visited Mr. Sholmes, then we visited Mr. Sholmes for something else, that I'll explain later. And then we visited Miss Green's hospital bed. She's alright, as is Mr. Shamsphere, which is good. And anyways, after that we went to Shamsphere Road. No, I'm looking at Briar Road. Mr. Shamsphere's room, where something special happened. See, when we went to visit Sholmes, he showed us a new forensic technology thing, whatever. It's basically luminol, not luminol, but fingerprint testing, I guess you could say, where we spray it and it glows, so it's like luminol plus fingerprint, I guess. And we found a few things, namely, first off, on the wall over by there, that painting on the wall there is a bunch of handprints all over the place. Next off, inside where Gregson is a hidden floor panel where we found a few more things, namely this capital offender article, this photograph of Garrett and some random guy, and I think that's it. Oh, and a metal box with nothing in it. I think it was, yeah. Anyways, with that being said, let us continue. Well, there are a few places I think we can go right now. We could easily go back to the hospital room. Not hospital room, where was it? Oh, down here. The Garredev's room, that's what it was. And maybe ask Mr. Garredev what exactly... I'm trying to remember stuff as I'm going, but yeah, ask Mr. Garredev if he knows the person in this photograph and such. Now then. Or we can go to the prison and talk to Natsume. I guess let's actually go to the prison, just because I would assume Natsume has a lot more information for us. (22nd of February), local prison, cell 9. Oh, Mr. Natsume's back. So he is. Mr. Natsume, hello. I am a cat. Sorry. I don't know who Mr. Natsume is, or Herlock Sholmes. I don't know about courts, or trials, or Old Baileys. I am a cat. That's what I am. Just a cat. Mr. Naruhodo, he's trying to escape from reality. Trying to? He already has. Completely. So, what is your name then? As yet, I have no name. Mr. Naruhodo, he hasn't fully thought out his new identity yet. Maybe it's not too late to bring him back to reality. Do you think you can open your eyes for us, Mr. Natsume? I am not a cat. It worked! He's back in the real world! What's going to become of me? No! Don't answer that! It's obvious! My accursed soul is never going to escape this accursed fate! Mr. Natsume, no! This morning proceeding in court proved that there is hope. Yes, a locum to Mr. Naruhodo Esquire is brilliant, but the Reaper is omnipresent, in court, in my lodgings, here, there, everywhere. What's he looking straight at me for? I think perhaps there are some things we should discuss. Oh, yes, we must. What was that? Okay, sorry. Sorry, I keep hearing things. I wonder if there's a ghost in here. Whatever. Anyways. This morning's trial. In my whole life, have I ever been so moved as I was today? No! Of course, if I cast my mind back, there were perhaps one or two occasions that moved me more. But if I just block those out, then today, being in that courtroom was... It was the most moving experience of my life! Locum student Naruto, Mr. Naruto Esquire. You're too kind. Scotland Yard found the remaining tea just as we deduced, and are analyzing it as we speak. There's nothing wrong with that tea. They won't find a drop of poison in it. That's a solemn sworn Suzuki certainty. Tell me, did you both drink the tea at the same time that night? Oh, yes, most definitely. Remember, drink tea while it's hot. We both poured down our throats like it was a hot bath for our bellies. And at the time, you were both completely fine. As shown by the fact that he and Mr. Shakespeare then engaged in the Romeo and Juliet match. I suppose the focus of tomorrow's proceedings will be how the poison was taken in by the victim instead. Then. That rotten Shakespeare! What have I ever done to him? You don't recall him taking issue with you over anything you've done recently? I have been holed up in my room, immersed in books. I don't recall anything. Anything at all! Right. But what I don't understand is why he didn't let me know sooner. Let you know what, Mr. Natsume? About the soap, of course. What else? Oh dear. Are you struggling with such a meager stipend? Of course I am. If I had money, I wouldn't have chosen to live in an accursed existence in such accursed lodgings. Ah, yes, you said that it's because the place is cursed that it's so cheap, didn't you? Exactly. Especially the room that I rent. The spirit of that capital offender who lived there still haunts the place, and is trying to kill me. Capital offender? Might I ask, locum student Mr. Naruto Esquire, that the next time you visit me, you bring scores of super soft soaps? Capital offender? Oh, wait a second. Didn't we just get a newspaper about capital offender? Interesting. Announced the death of convicted murderer and burglar Selden by natural causes in the early hours of the morning. He had been suffering with a fever since the end of October. Alerted by the shouts of his fellow cellmate, medical staff arrived to find him already dead. Thus far as punishment could be carried out. But he said, this one says he died in prison though, right? That's something. What's this? It's a newspaper cutting that we found in Mr. Shakespeare's room. So he knew, did he? Sorry? About this man, Selden. A convicted killer, and the evil spirit behind the curse that afflicts my lodgings. What? He's already taken one young man's life, and now he's trying to take the life of another. A miserable, mustached, much malaligned Japanese man. Mr. Natsume, if you know something, please, you must tell us. Tell us everything you can about this evil spirit. How is he haunting the lodgings if he died in prison? The truth is, I didn't know the details myself until very recently. That Selden man was arrested about a year ago now. And at the time, he was hiding out in lodgings at Mr. Garrett's house. What? He lived where you do now? That's right, yes, exactly where I live now, in my very room. Oh my, your room was previously occupied by a criminal found guilty of a capital offense? But before his sentence could be carried out, he died in prison. That was 3 months ago now. And that's when it started. The curse. What really is this curse you keep mentioning, Mr. Natsume? It's already caused one death. A few months after the criminal passed away in prison. A man died in the room. The man who rented it after Sheldon, in fact. The poor lodger. He was found dead in mysterious circumstances. The room was locked in from the inside. Locked from the inside? Exactly like the case we're dealing with now. So, that's the convict's curse, isn't it? Yes, well, that was the start of it. The start of it? Do you have any idea how the lodger before you passed away, Mr. Natsume? The official cause of death was asphyxia. He suffocated? When they discovered the body, the room was full of gas. Gas? I only found out after I signed the lease. When Mr. Gerda came to tell me later, I couldn't stop myself trembling. In fact, if I had known beforehand, I'd probably have been too scared to take the room. Landlord's lease, luckily legal! Luckily for Mr. Gerda, maybe, but not so lucky for poor Mr. Natsume. And now you believe this curse is affecting you? It is. At first, I just felt as though I was being watched all the time. And then you talked about having nightmares, didn't you? The dead are trying to take me with them. They come for me and try to suffocate me. Just when I'm struggling to breathe, I wake up, and the room is as cold as ice. But why is your room so cold? London winters are too cold to bear without any heating on overnight. But for some reason, even though I light the stove before I climb into bed at night... Wait a second, what? I just realized something. London winters? Maybe it's because I'm American, but doesn't London get winters? This is supposed to take place during what, February, March? Let me see. How long does London winters last? December to February. Oh. Okay, never mind. Over where I live, winters last like. Well, I mean, winters aren't really snow. It's really just really cold over here. But yeah, winters really last from like what? I mean, I guess winter technically lasts until like March, spring, but you don't really think of it. I guess where I live, our winter basically ends at like end of January, but whatever. Oh wait, sorry. There. But for some reason, even though I light the stove before I climb into bed at night, the pilot light always goes out and the room fills with gas. But that's terrible. That's exactly the same situation as what led to the previous occupant's death. And then there's what happened to Mr. Shamster last night, when he was mysteriously poisoned. There's clearly more to that incident than can be explained by a curse, though. Whatever can be the cause of all these strange happenings in Mr. Garrett's rooms? But we best ask him, don't we? We better go ask him. "22nd of February, Mr. and Mrs. Garrett Ebb's room." Yeah, February. Okay, never mind. Ah, you're here now, Mr. Garrett Ebb. Right, bally business it is for me, you know. Getting out and about. Were you at the Old Bailey by any chance? Naturally. Fate of my lodgings hanging in the balance and all that. Not a trial to miss. The fate of what's already been dubbed your haunted lodgings, yes. Of course, the place has caused quite a stir around the capital on more than one occasion already. As the old haunted lodgings or some such. Ah, well, at least he knows. Makes you wonder what the blaze is going on, don't you know? Don't you know? Shouldn't be, don't you think? Yes, I'm sure it does. In fact, thinking back to Mr. Natsume's older trial just 2 days ago, you were at the Old Bailey then as well, weren't you? Testifying with your wife about what happened. Stopped off at the prison on the way home, in fact. A beastly business. I see. Wait, why is Sholmes here? Why did he come with us? What? So, what brings you to my haunted abode today, eh? Your lodgings. Some fishy fellow from the Far East and a failed actor chap of questionable character, eh? Yes, the house does seem to have become something of a magnet for rum fellows of late. Thanks to that bally curse. The convict's curse, you mean? Ah, heard the stories, have you? Rotten scoundrels arrested here, and then the next chap in the room goes and keels over. Then there was that woman who dropped dead just outside on the street, not to mention the actor yesterday. Am I next, huh? Can't help but get the coldy wobbles, can you? When you say the woman who dropped dead outside on the street, do you mean Miss Green? Because Miss Green, who was stabbed by the knife, and Mr. Champier, who was poisoned last night, are both very much alive still. Yes, well, so is that blasted convict's curse, it seems. Personally, I should be quite content with such lodgings. A bath, a toilet, a fireplace, a fascinating history? Why, it sounds like the lap of luxury. I'm not so sure about that. Well, there's no bath or toilet included, and no fireplace either. But you do look out for your tenants, don't you? By watching the rise and fall of the flames in your gas lamps up here. Yes, never hurt to keep an eye on things, in case there are any mishaps or such like. I think you've had your mishap already, sir. That's not helpful, Mr. Sholmes. Heaven forgive me, the words just came to my lips. Alright, what about the lodgers? Some fishy fellow from the Far East, and a failed actor chap of questionable character. There's no need for that, Mr. Girdeb. That's right. Mr. Natsume is in no way fishy. He is undeniably peculiar, though. Is it alright that he took the vacancy immediately after the previous tenant passed away? Yes, that's right. I asked the estate agent to find someone and he popped up the very same day. Never come across a chap so keen for a place with a background, as it were. I don't think it was the room's background that he was keen on so much as the cheap rent, actually. So, how long has Mr. Champier been lodging under your roof? That failed actor chap? Let me see. Oh, of course. Yes, it's been 3 months now. Quite sure of it. 3 months? Only 3 months. He's quite new here too, then. And to what do you owe your certainty in that regard, Mr. Girdeb, if I might ask? Well, it was that Selden scoundrel as it happens. Selden? The convict, you mean? Do Selden and Champier have some kind of connection, then? That convict chap, Selden, passed away in the clink 3 months ago now, you see. Some malady or other. Yes, we've seen the report from the newspaper at the time. Well, it was only 3 days later that the tragedian showed his face. The actor fellow. Really? Yes, I remember it quite distinctly. 'Tis small, this world we inhabit. Prithee, landlord, hear my request. I, the humble Shamspeare, do desire to take thy room on the middle floor offered erewhile for rent. Terribly sorry and whatnot, but that won't be possible. already have a lodger on the middle floor. Ground floor is vacant, though. Nothing can be made out of nothing. Let me repeat mine will unto thee. Those curs must be muffling your ears. The room on the middle floor is taken. It's ground floor or nothing. Very well. We have an accord. Glad to hear it. Welcome to Briar Road. No, a Shakespeare dance to celebrate. From what I hear in court today, sounds like the chap was thieving gas. And he was 3 months arrears with the rent too. Yes, the fellow was a bally player, alright. 3 months behind on the rent? Thank you for your candor, Mr. Garrett. We are most grateful. By way of appreciation, allow me to say 1 or 2 words. Give me my robe, put on my crown. I have immortal lodgings in me. What's happened to you? Shakespeare, my dear fellow, one of his most famous lines. I wish to divulge my own learning of the subject, for I have a turn for literature too, you know. Perhaps you can turn your attention to more apt lines then? Alright, now we can actually act. Well, that was pretty good. We can actually ask him for what we came here to. This picture. Mr. Garrett, could I ask you to look at this photograph? Is that your son who's with you there? No, not at all. He was a lodger here once. Duncan Ross was his name. Duncan Ross. A street photographer happened to be passing, so I asked him to take a shot. Just for kicks, really. Was he by any chance the lodger before Mr. Natsume? Oh, yes, that's right. Ah, the young gentleman who died in the room in mysterious circumstances. Just what Mr. Mustache was waiting for, one might say. Yes, young Duncan lived in the room at the top of the first flight of stairs before that Japanese chap. Would you mind telling us a little more about him? Duncan Ross, eh? Yes, Duncan Ross. Young chap was attending an art school. Had to work to pay for it, mind. Moved into the middle floor room about a year ago. After that criminal, Selden, was arrested. Young students are always on the hunt for a room with a history behind them. A history of cheap rent, maybe. Yes. Yes, well, anyway, it was one morning that about a month ago now. Hadn't quite worked out the old trick of watching the gas lamp to see what my lodgers were up to at the time. So, sadly, I was rather tardy to discover what had happened. The smell of gas that alerted me it was. Oh yes, synonymous with the smell of death. Called the police straight away, of course, and the officer kicked the door off its hinges. But once we got inside, we all badly collapsed. Because of the gas? Yes, room was full of it. No air at all. Stove must have gone out while the poor chap was sleeping in his bed. So Mr. Ross suffocated to death. Of course, the police gave me a sound ticking off because of the gas pipe was so old and that. Can't tell you how much it set me back to have the lot replaced all over the house. But even after you had all that work done, Mr. Natsume says the same thing. That the stove goes out at night whilst he's asleep in bed. Well, that's the bally curse! The convict's curse! I've done my duty as a landlord now. Someone's feeling defensive. Ah, that reminds me actually. Yes? About young Duncan, the night before the poor chap perished. He'd been writing a letter of affection to a young lady. A love letter, you mean? Yes, where did I put it now? Ah, here it is. Left it on my desk. For a year? If you'll excuse me, let me see now. What does it say? To my most beautiful and charming sweetheart. Do you think we should be reading such a personal piece of correspondence? My dear Miss Susato, that is precisely why I prefaced my reading with, if you'll excuse me. I will not excuse Mr. Sholmes. No. Sadly, he didn't address it, though. So I have no means of delivering the thing. Rather sad, really. I see. That's gonna play in my mind. But really, the identity of Mr. Ross's sweetheart has no bearing on this case. I think we should leave well alone. Yes, I suppose you're right. Indeed. The intended recipient's address is missing, however. There is a name attributed to the man's most beautiful and charming sweetheart. Mrs. Sholmes, please. I've already had to chastise you about this once. My undying love to you, my colourful darling, Olive Green. Olive Green? Which makes sense, because if you remember, we saw a picture of him back in her hospital room. The woman who was plunged into a coma after a knife plunged into her back outside this house 5 days ago? The victim of the last case Useki-san was in court for, who regained consciousness only yesterday? Is it just chance that her name has come up now? Could it possibly be a mere coincidence? Mr. Naruhodo, what can this mean? Reading personal correspondence can have its merits, you see, Mr. Sato. Alright. Guess we have a lady in a green overcoat to talk to. "22nd of February. St. Bartholomew's Hospital, Recovery Ward. Mr. Naruhodo, I have just finished speaking with the doctor. It seems Miss Green is well enough to be discharged at last. That is good news. But hopefully just before she leaves... What is it? Miss Green. What was that? She clearly just hit some behind her back. What? One moment. I'll be with you in a jiffy. Oh, hello everyone. What are you all doing? Whatever. What are you all doing here? The doctor said I can be discharged, so I'm just getting my things together. Yeah? Miss Green, what were you just doing? Oh, nothing really. I was just about to take some medicine the doctor prescribed for me, that's all. But you were well enough to be discharged. Well, we were hoping to have another quick chat with you, if that's alright. I don't really have anything else to tell you. Alright, she's definitely behaving strangely. Let's see if we can't coax something out of her. First off, I want to make sure this picture is alright. Oh, you think they'd have some dialogue changed? Yeah, same guy. You would think they have some, dialogue changed or something. Oh well. Okay. Let's see here now. Yeah, we're 28 something. Okay, sorry. It's just something. If I do things right, you wouldn't even notice. What is this? This is the bottle that Miss Green was just about to drink from when we arrived. Yes, she looked rather preoccupied, didn't she? Oh, wrong button. Perhaps it's very bitter. I can't stand bitter medicine. I suppose that could be it. In fact, whenever a doctor prescribes me medicine for a number of days, I always take it all at once. Oh no. Well, if you have to take something you don't like, it's best to get it all out of the way in one go, isn't it? Not with medicine. Oh dear. And I thought it was Miss Green that I should be worrying about at the moment. Ooh, a letter. This is the card that Miss Green was looking at so intently before, isn't it? Mr. Naruto, we shouldn't be peeking at a young woman's private effects. Right, I should say peeking for gentlemen's effects only. You mustn't do that either. And maybe you, Mr. Sato, shouldn't be peeking into a young man's mind either, Alright, let's talk to her. It's wonderful news that you're going to be discharged, Miss Green.
Oh, yes. I mean, thank you. Once people are better, the hospital staff don't want them lingering and wasting space. Not people like me, anyway. So, I don't think I should keep anyone waiting. I probably shouldn't stand around and chat.
She certainly doesn't seem to be in the mood to talk, that's for sure. Okay. Well. So... what, do we just show her the picture or something? Miss Green, we were hoping to ask you about someone. Mr. Duncan Ross. You knew him, didn't you? What the Why is it magenta color? Ah, no, I'm so sorry. The bottle of medicine fell down when she did. Oh, Miss Green, are you alright? Ah, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to startle you like that.
No, it's alright. I just wasn't expecting it.
But, how do you know about Duncan? Mr. Ross had been writing a letter when he passed away. The landlord found it in his room. It was a very personal letter to you. It was at the art school. That's where I met Duncan, a year ago now. He was working to fund his studies. He dreamt of becoming a professional artist one day, and look at that. And the two of you became romantically involved? Yes, that's right. We were very much in love. We were engaged to be married, actually. That's why he decided to move into a cheaper room, to save money for the wedding. And that's what led him to Mr. Garrideb's. Yes, he told me he found the worst but cheapest room in the entire East End. And then, a month ago, that's when it happened. We're so terribly sorry, Miss Green.
Well, it's all in the past now, I suppose.
Poor Miss Green. She looks desperately sad. I was starting to think that's just her look. But now I see that she has every reason to feel the universe is against her.
I do hope you won't think I'm being rude, but... would you mind leaving me in peace now? I have to leave this hospital soon.
Oh, I'm so sorry. We didn't mean to hold you up. Of course, we'll be on our way. Mr. Naruhodo! Surely you were not about to leave? That's quite out of the question. What? Mr. Sholmes? I didn't realize you were here. But of course I was, my dear fellow, watching intently from the shadows as always. Well, make your presence known next time. Mr. Sholmes, what's this about? Something which occurs to me with some regularity, Mr. Sato, is this. Why do detectives insist on such an ex post facto modus operandi? Why solve a case after it's happened? Instead of preventing a case before it happens. This is what sets a great detective apart. What do you mean? There is a case waiting to happen under our very noses, Mr. Naruhodo. So, let us avert disaster. Let us prevent this case from ever happening, with nothing but careful observation. Okay. All the clues you need are set before you. You need only look, and you cannot fail to see. You can do it, Mr. Naruhodo. I know you can. Alright. Let's look! Oh, these are new. Great. What is this? It definitely feels as though this card must be relevant. I mean, when we first arrived, the screen was standing with it with her hand in what can only be described as a very tense atmosphere. Yes. It may very well be related to whatever incident Mr. Shelton believes was about to happen here. Perhaps we should ask Miss Green about it. And this? Oh, the mouse is dead? That mouse seems to be dead. Look. I didn't notice it there before, did you? I think perhaps it drank the medicine that spilled out of the bottle. Medicine that kills? But that's the bottle that Mr. Green was about to drink from when we arrived. You don't think... Ah, I see you've come to appreciate the true nature of this scene. That of a tragedy about to take place. Yes, I think it's falling into place. Miss Green, the contents of the bottle you had before has spilt out onto the floor, and the poor mouse that drank it has sadly died. I think it's clear that the bottle must have contained a powerful poison. Don't worry, I will attend to the mouse presently. Miss Green, were you intending to go the same way as that rodent? To take your own life? Once we left, you'd have put it to your lips again, wouldn't you? And taken the poison. Miss Green, please talk to us. Yeah? 10 seconds later, and we would have arrived at a very different scene here. In all probability, we would not have enjoyed this most delightful conversation. Of course, perhaps it hasn't been quite so delightful from your perspective, Miss Green. Actually, in a way, now that everything's out in the open, I feel like a weight has been lifted. Tell me, how did you acquire that medicine? Well, with this being a hospital and all, when the doctor comes to examine me in the mornings, he always leaves the medicine cabinet open for a while, so I snuck this out when he wasn't looking. Why does a doctor have poison in his medicine cabinet? For the rats? It conspicuously lacks a label. I wonder what it contains. I'm afraid I don't really know. But I thought, if I drank it, it might just stop the pain somehow. Oh, please, Miss Green. Don't talk of such things. Well, it seems clear now that it contains poison. Yes, that poor little mouse is proof of that. Oh, no. Oh, it's all my fault. What have I done? I shall remove this to my office, Miss Green. I take it you have no objection? No. None. Neither the sender's name or address appear to be written on the envelope or card, and it seems to be ripped somehow. It arrived by post at my home the day before the incident that put me in the hospital here. I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on the 17th. Don't tell anyone else about this letter or the meeting. It is a matter of utmost importance. Huh. Wait a minute. The 17th? Of this month? That's the day... That's the day you were stabbed on Briar Road.
And 5 p.m.
It's precisely the time when the incident occurred. The Slug and Salad. Yes, a pub on the northern corner of Briar Road. Briar Road being the street that Mr. Garrideb's house is on.
Does this mean that... Yes, I'm sure you've guessed. That day when I was struck in the back by the knife, I was actually on my way to the Slug and Salad.
Goodness. So that's what you were doing on Briar Road that day.
I'm sorry I didn't say anything before.
It's fine, the letter literally told you not to, so...
I think I really will have to ask you to excuse me now. I've told you everything.
Yes. I'm very sorry to have had to drag up such painful memories for you.
No, it's fine.
Miss Green, please, promise us you won't try to do anything like that again.
Yes, don't worry. Your detective friend has the bottle now anyway. And besides, I've been stabbed in the back and had a close shave with a bottle of poison, and I'm still here. I think I'm destined to see things through to the end. It might sound a little conceited, but, well, that's how all this has made me feel.
Leaving Miss Green in St. Bartholomew's behind, we made our way back to Baker Street with Mr. Sholmes. Well, it would appear that we've reached the end of this investigative trail for today. Yes, it's late. And, Mr. Naruhodo, did you discover anything that may be of use to you in court tomorrow, do you think? Details about Mr. Shanspeare, Mr. Garrideb's lodgings, the convict Selden. There are many facets to this case, and we're yet to see the heart of it, too, if you ask me. That's my feeling, anyway. I can't help but wondering about the results of the analysis. Into Mr. Natsume's tea, you mean? Yes. Will they have found strychnine in it or not? Well, I fear that either way, it will be hard to escape the grip of our friend Mr. Reaper. Oh dear. Yes, Barak Van Zeeks. But I wish you every success, of course. Though I was late to rise this morning, tomorrow will be a new dawn. I intend to spring from my bed at a crisp hour to attend the trial. Mr. Sholmes, you're going to come? Indeed. Whatever happens, I shall be there. Assuming my eyelids cooperate in the morning. Well, I think we've done all we can. All that's left is to remain focused and keep fighting for Mr. Natsume's cause until the very end. Alright. London, the world's most prosperous city, home to some 6 million people. But away from the razzle-dazzle, down back alleys and behind bricked-up windows, the lonely lurk. Sosuke-san had battled long and hard with loneliness during his many months here, and so I felt honor-bound to battle equally hard for my compatriot, to lift the curse that gripped him. As Mr. Sholmes said, tomorrow would be a new dawn for all of us. Alright, so that's the end of this part. It's, what, 44 minutes in? So I could, I guess, leave things here and continue on with the investigation, with the trial next time. What do I want to do? Okay. Well, we're already, like, what, 45 minutes in? So, I think I'm going to end things here. Next time on the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, we're going to get right into the trial. And yeah, we're going to see how things play out. Let me just make sure everything's good. Okay, good, yeah. So yeah, we're we're gonna see how everything kind of plays out next time. I don't think there's much left for this case, I don't think. Let me see. If I go to my guide here. What the? Oh, wow. Apparently that scene of Miss Green talking to Mr. Shamspeare was optional. Like, if we went there earlier, then... Huh. Interesting. Okay. Is there any more to deal with, or... Oh, okay, yeah. There's a lot more to do. Jeez. Okay. Anyways. That'll be the end of this episode. Sorry if I slurred or botched my words. Like, it's literally, what, 11 now? Almost that. So, yeah. I changed my recording time from, like, 9 to, like, 10. And that really kind of messed me up. I will get used to it. Anyways. That'll be it for now, and, yeah. See you all next time.